Holly Hansen, family member of Ramp Consumer, supporter of Ramp Services. My experience with Ramp is through my brother Eric. Eric is a survivor of a traumatic brain injury. And Eric lived with Mom until Mom got old enough that she couldn't take care of Eric. And it was kind of a question of who was taking care of whom. Then Eric moved in with me.
Nalita Sheen, Ramp supporter and volunteer. My best friend's son and his spinal injury, he ended up in a wheelchair. And through that accident, I became aware of Ramp.
Maybe a family is experiencing a child who has just come into a disability. Maybe it happened, halfway through their life. They're 10, 11 years old, and suddenly find themselves with a disability. That family can find an entire support network.
Thank goodness Ramp was there to help provide services, because I spent a lot of hours at work, and Ramp provided professional PA hours assistance, so we could have someone help get Eric off to work in the morning and greet him when he came off of the paratransit bus after work every day.
Really, I think what Ramp has done, the majority of what Ramp has done for David is helped David and his family just better cope with the fact that David's going to be in a wheelchair for the rest of his life.
Well, I think it's always been intriguing to me that the term ramp has encouraged the use of special ramps for wheelchairs, special equipment for folks who can't climb stairs.
Without Ramp, our life would be very different. Ramp really is a resource for families that have loved ones that have disabilities. Helps us to make their life much more complete.
Helping understand the importance of PAs and how to schedule their time and, where to go to get the resources to pay for the PA's education was a big thing that they helped him with.
Well, in the 34 years that I worked with the Parks District, we were involved with Ramp in many kinds of activities. It contributes greatly to the health and well-being, not only of the clients, but to the quality of life in the entire community.
In fact, in my brother's situation, we found 3 other families that have young men that are survivors of traumatic brain injury. And Ramp helped us put a household together, we finally call it the Bachelor Pad, where there's 4 survivors of traumatic brain injury that live together, and we use PA hours to provide 24/7 help for them to be as independent as they possibly can be.
But also to have someone to help the parents to understand how to get through this process. How do I start now living with a child with a disability and ensuring that they grow up in a successful, happy, enjoyable life?
Many times RMTD finds that people with disabilities are reluctant to use mass transit because they don't know how. Ramp enables people with disabilities to access Rockford Mass Transit to get to all these wonderful things in our community by providing bus training and education on how to use the bus system and access all that our community has to offer.
Ramp really helped to make that possible. It was something I couldn't have done on my own. And without Ramp, there's other families that are going to struggle for what to do with their loved ones as well. So Ramp is really a vital organization to help those with developmental or obtained disabilities move forward in their lives.
For the last 3-4 years, I've been involved with the Wheelathon. And so as you go up and down the Riverwalk and as you meet families and hear their issues and how they're dealing with it and how they're coping and how they're making their life better, you begin to realize that Ramp is really covering a very broad spectrum.
These kinds of projects and the fundraising to assist them has been very important to me. I've been in fundraising in a variety of ways in the community, and I don't believe you could support anything better than Ramp.
I would strongly endorse everyone's support of Ramp as a worthy investment in the quality of life of our community.
What we're trying to do is make sure that the organization is set up to grow for the future, so that regardless of how many consumers need support in the community, how that population may grow, Ramp has a foundation to ensure that they can serve those individuals in the best possible manner.
It's really important that RAMP continues to receive funding from states and individual and other grant programs. If there isn't assistance for some of these people, institutions can be the only option. And as we look at through our households, that's probably the last place you want one of your loved ones to have to be.
We feel that if we don't step in, if we don't help, then the community has a sector that's disadvantaged. And why allow that to happen?